You're going to smile?
I'm going to try.
You ever look at your spouse and think, what planet are you from?
Sometimes daily.
Same here. Same here. I mean, we all know we're wired differently, but you've just got to wonder why we haven't learned more about this sooner.
Hi, we're CJ and H Man, and welcome to God of Wonder 25.
We're going to talk about this a little bit more, and it affects really all kinds of situations, whether it's spouses or friends, family, coworkers. We're going to talk about it.
And it all starts with understanding the personalities, specifically using the DISC personality profile.
We're getting ready to celebrate our 23rd wedding anniversary here in a couple of weeks, and we learned about the disc from another couple in a business setting.
It was a lot of fun. At first, skeptical, I would say myself.
Maybe the word mumbo jumbo was used at the beginning of it.
You know,
And I loved the information at the time because I was trying to make sense of past relationships, and you know, it was good timing. It was God's timing for me to hear it. And we'll talk more about those situations and my wiring. But H Man, if this couple was instrumental in us hearing about this information.
what was unique about that is she was more like I was, and he was more like she was. And her situation was very much like mine, single at the time, with children as she was. And if you will, someone learning not having children, wired differently, and welcoming them into the family and understanding um, everybody's personality coming into the situation.
And it couldn't have been a more blessed example because uh, they had been around this information years before we had used it in sales, which helped H Man grab onto it because it wasn't all fluffy. It made sense. And we have this great memory of being in a conference where this room was the size of a football field.
And the presenter was talking to everybody and asking them questions, and then he was separating the room out into the four quadrants. And as that's going on, he's kind of saying to one group, well, this group over here is probably doing this, or the ones over here, the eyes, they've already planned on what they're going to do tonight. They're already having dinner, and we're at lunch. And he points over here. He goes, well, these people are standing, all of them with their arms crossed, like, why are we standing here? We need to get going. There's nothing going on here. We need some instruction. So,
and that honestly was what changed it for him because it was so obvious how people are wired, and his wife was on the other side of the room. Hello.
And what that was, yes. So when everybody is in their quadrant and you're looking around, it's kind of like, okay, this makes sense. This is why I gravitate to this person or that group or that group. That's why this one kind of, I want to repel a little bit. It's hard for me to understand. I feel they're abrasive or something, but it's not the whole story. It's just the way that they're wired that way. So it's not good or bad or indifferent. It's just the way they are.
It took us a long time. It took us a long time to figure this out, and we're excited to share it with you.
When we got married, early on, I was getting the kids every other weekend, and kind of still dealing with some ex. And my kids are my personality. They're different than my wife's. So that kind of brought up some challenges because I'm a people person. She's a task person.
It was, it was so hard. It was so hard. We newly married and did well together, but when it came to parenting, it was like whammo because when you have them on the weekend, you're doing stuff, you got to get things done. There's a lot of details to be coordinated, and he's all just, what are we going to do? And the task and the people just clashed horribly.
And we just moved into a new house, so we had a lot of acreage too and a lot of things to do. But coming over on my personality, being a people person, wanted to be out, if you will,
Just have
goofing off,
fun.
playing, having
Yeah.
fun, doing things, enjoying it like that. So that would, well, it did lead us to some tension.
I mean, the bags were packed on a few occasions. I'm not going to lie. We just, we couldn't understand each other. I mean, let alone respect or whatever. And it was, oh, maybe what, 9 months after we got married,
About
we
6 to 9 months,
met this
yeah.
couple, and not long after that, we heard about this. So it, I mean, it didn't help for quite a long time.
But when it did, it
It
made a lot of sense. It opened a lot of eyes for me, and like, oh, and I put it the simplest way. I learned how to play Foursquare and step into somebody else's personality or to their box, listen to them and understand them, and go back and still be myself. But I was able to reach them in their communication style and understand it.
That's more in a sales situation,
Yeah.
but sticking with the marriage part, there was, when you begin to understand, for us, you begin to give grace. And when you begin to give grace, then the respect comes back in a little bit. And we also learned about the five love languages about the same time, too. And we have crazy stories about that. Like, crazy stories about that. Again, opposites. Didn't even know what acts of service was. And he was like cringing at quality time. So
I've got him in the car. I can talk.
he's like, let me out. Well, we've got stories we've learned, and we want to share with you. So many people don't know about the DISC personality profiles, and while it's simple, it's a quadrant, like H Man said. You can go deep into it to understand more and more about it.
So, like she said, we're coming up on 23 years, and I got to tell you, each year gets better and better. It's like we've been together 50. Um, Wish it had been, but honestly, not knowing this and having this as part of our life and being able to share it has really made it just a great time. We laugh about it a lot. We'll look at each other, and sometimes I go, "You're being a C."
I ask him if he wants to sway.
Everybody go, "Kumbaya,"
You'll learn more about that when we get into the letters. But um, unfortunately, we didn't learn it really quick enough to make a good difference with the kids. I don't know if all parents feel this way, but we could have done a lot better. We just did the best we could, of course, but we wish we could have been better co-parents early on. But we're looking forward to sharing it. Maybe it'll help you. We're hoping so.
Let's draw it out for you so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that. It's really easy. And then tell you what, the next episode will go into further detail. So be sure to see that episode too. So what you basically do is there's a top and a bottom, and the top is outgoing, and the bottom part is reserved. You probably can't see my spelling from there, but that's a good thing. So this probably means what you think it means. Uh, like if you like to lead in events, or you're more reserved, but it's more than social situations. I've also heard this explained as how fast you go about life. The outgoing people are like hair on fire sometimes. They go fast no matter what they're doing, and these people are like, when I get to it, I get to it. That's a simplified version, but it's more than just being how a social setting. So if you forget about these two, this is this side here. This side is people, and this side over here is task. So it's just this side and this side. So this side of people are concerned about who they're going to talk to during the day to get things done. And this side is what they're going to get done. It turns out that the task and the people, those sides, understanding that for H Man and I was the key. And just to finish this up, then the task and outgoing is where the D comes in. The outgoing and the people are where the I is. The people and the reserved is where the S is. And if the reserved and the task is where the C is. So it's DISC. You'll hear us call it just DISC, and it's DISC. And we're going to talk about those in great detail. Like I said, it's basic, but yet it kind of starts to unlock how you're wired.
Very informative, easy to follow.
Great in all kinds of applications. H-Man, like he said, was in a sales situation. He was able to identify that, and we'll talk more about those. People tell you who they are. Yeah. They really do. And even little kids do. I mean, it really is an exciting, basic amount of information. We would hope they would teach it in high school because it really affects, what job you land in and just all kinds of things.
The high school situation would be pretty awesome because, you're all teenagers and you're kind of going out of your mind anyways, your parents would say. And it would really help to understand kind of really what you're going to do in life or how you're wired to go into life that way.
Oh my gosh. I mean, not only as the parents understanding, but understanding your kid, how they're wired. We have a good friend whose mom was very intuitive about it a long time ago and would use punishment for a real introverted kid to make him go out and play with the kids. That was a punishment for him.
Not sitting in your room, you're going to go play.
Which we totally knew that was disc oriented because she sensed that wiring. So we laugh about that. But disc has made a big difference in our life. We say it saved our marriage. It's affected countless mentoring opportunities. So here we are at Gotta Wonder 25, sharing it with you.
Our next video, we're going to be talking about things like, do I drive like Mario Andretti out on the highway, or am I like the grandma that's doing 10 miles under the speed limit? I'm just going to get there when I get there.
Yeah, we're kind of opposites on that too, I have to say. Know your letter?
Know your people. Gotta Wonder 25.
Okay, go.
Video killed the radio star. No.